There is a sound in the market that never stops. Prices shifting, alerts firing, an endless human roar wearing the costume of economics. In this environment, most participants mistake constant motion for progress. We are handed rules we never agreed to follow. Work hard, move fast, and if your reaction is quick enough, the market will reward you. Marcus Vale calls this the earner's map. It was designed to produce reliable, compliant workers, not wealth. Modern trading platforms and financial media are optimized for this reactionary mindset. An anxious participant is a profitable customer. The noise you see on this screen is not a byproduct of the market. It is the product. This noise has maintained its grip for generations. Whether it's a physical ticker tape or a digital notification, the mechanism remains the same. It keeps your attention fixed on the volume of the moment, burying the signals that actually matter. When you live inside this noise, you aren't trading the market. You are being moved by it. You are reacting to a game that was designed to trade you. If you believe your edge is speed, you are competing against hardware you cannot match. Algorithms and fiber optic cables capture millisecond opportunities before a human can even finish reading the headline. Price is a shadow. When you chase it, the shadow simply recedes. It moves at the same pace as your effort, staying exactly the same distance ahead of you for as long as you choose to run. The operator plays a different game entirely. They stop chasing the shadow and turn their attention toward the structural truth that casts it. Instead of trying to move faster than the market, the operator develops the perceptual clarity to see the fault line before it opens. They arrive at the destination while the crowd is still suiting up for the race. Wealth follows value. It does not lead it. By cultivating the stillness required to perceive the structure, you position yourself where the money is destined to flow. Consider a specific Friday afternoon in 2023. The European Union finalized its carbon border adjustment mechanism, a dense technical document that would shift the flow of global energy capital. Most participants waited for the Monday morning summary. They relied on a 3-sentence headline designed for easy consumption, missing the specific mechanics that would actually move the price. The operator used that quiet weekend to read the primary source. While the crowd waited for a filter, the operator was analyzing the unmediated signal hidden in the actual text of the regulation. Every step between a primary source and the reader removes a piece of the edge. Wealth is a byproduct of the attention most people are unwilling to pay. Inside that document, a specific clause dictated how electricity crossing the EU border would be penalized for carbon. It created a pricing rule for power that didn't yet exist in the market. Physically, the grid was unchanged. The same towers were carrying the same electrons across the same green fields. But a new regulatory wall had just appeared, separating the energy markets of Hungary and Serbia. This created a structural fault line. On one side of the border, electricity was now carbon-priced. On the other, it was not. The operator mapped out the inevitable gap between these two identical electrons before a single trade was placed. This opportunity was found, not created. The market's model was too simple to capture the complexity of the new reality. It proves that scarcity is often just a limit of perception. The divergence between what is true in reality and what is currently priced in the market is the only permanent source of wealth. The operator took their position and then entered a period of absolute stillness. They had confirmed the thesis. Now they had to wait for the rest of the world to finally see it. For 18 months, the market did nothing. The silence of the crowd can feel like evidence that you are wrong, but for the operator, it is simply the natural duration of a wisdom-based position. This stillness is rare. In 2008, the masses ignored the structural rot of the housing market because chasing a rising price felt safer than standing alone with a different thesis. This internal stability is born from preparation. When your conviction is earned through primary sources rather than borrowed from hope, you gain the capacity to wait without desperation. Only the calm produced by deep, confirmed preparation can survive the market's noise. Desperation narrows your judgment. Stillness expands it. Eventually, the 18 months of silence break. The broader market reads the data, recognizes the carbon border discrepancy, and rushes in to price the asset. The price spikes violently. It moves to meet the structural reality that had been present in the documents since that first Friday afternoon in 2023.
The operator does not need to react to this movement. They were already positioned. While the crowd is racing to catch up, the operator is simply watching the shadow finally meet the object. History's great operators worked this way. Early railroad speculators didn't wait for the tracks to be laid. They found the structural paths through the terrain long before the crowd arrived. That financial payout arrives as the shadow cast by your own clarity. It is the inevitable result of positioning behind a structural truth that the rest of the world had not yet named. If the path to wealth is sitting with a primary source and waiting for a thesis to play out, we have to ask why the crowd still chooses the noise. The market operates as a mirror, reflecting collective panic and greed with perfect fidelity. To trade consistently, you must look into that reflection without being captured by the emotion of the crowd. Exploiting the irrationality of the crowd requires an operator to map and conquer those exact same biases within themselves. This is the unglamorous, invisible work that occurs long before a first trade is placed. The final asymmetry is the self. Every external arbitrage is a direct projection of your own internal clarity, a reflection of the work you did to move past the inherited maps that keep everyone else small. The carbon border, the land corridor, the Friday filing, these are not outcomes you find in a market. They are the results of a mind trained to see. Build the instrument first. You are the trade.